talked about the flow and the importance of the flow in education.
Yeah.
Could you explain a bit more?
Yeah, actually what we talk about in Finland is engaging learning environments. Engagement and flow are very important concepts because they involve both intellectual development and emotions at the same time. So you get emotionally interested and engaged. And one part of it is that you have tools that you prefer. Paper and pencil is not very engaging tool for the students who are used to all kinds of interesting devices, and instead of taking in knowledge, they are much more into creating knowledge with other young people. So the flow means that you experience challenge and context that is meaningful, so that it's kind of interesting. And then you also feel competent. This is my type of thing to do. And if you are experiencing both high challenge and sense of competence, then you can be so engaged that you absorbed, like Csikszentmihalyi would say, that you are, the time flies. You are not bored, but it's kind of, you're not conscious of yourself, you're just task oriented. The task takes you, and this is all adult people know how it's like if you have a lecture going on and you are an active person. You have to sit down and you're not allowed to tweet or not allowed to do anything. You just have to sit there and try to stay awake. And for young people that's much worse. We grew up, we can listen to lectures and preaches and everything. But this new generation, their knowledge practices are so different. It's very difficult for them to achieve some kind of flow if they have a passive role. And what we are especially interested in is so-called group flow, so that we get very different students, maybe different cultures, maybe not everybody even knows the language well, and they have something so interesting, a problem that they are tackling, and they have engaging tools and visual things. They like visual things, they like music, they like things like that, and they can create something together. And our teachers constantly talk about discipline and order and these things.
Critics talk about the pedagogy of effort.
Yeah, but we very much think about external motivation, that you need punishment and threatening and
norms
yes, and who goes nowadays to a working place and says that you need strict orders and you need this and that and motivate? Nobody motivates workers like that. And we know that children are curious by nature. They love to learn new things, but they are very impatient to listen to adults. So what we need to do is take this active energy that you have in children, give them challenging tasks, just let them feel competent and autonomous and related to others. Fun. And then people tell me, Kirsti, learning is not supposed to be fun, it's hard work. And I said, I'm still learning, you know, at this age. I love learning, I love science, I love my work. And why wouldn't people who are like much younger than me would have this fresh love for learning if they just are given possibilities to experience that? But it's terrible tragedy if we have all these active, curious, wonderful, playful children, and then we just put them in a passive role and start lecturing them, and they are just fall in apathy. And then they start actually, then comes all this discipline problem, this kind of problems that you have to have rules and this and that and all the time, because they are just bored, disengaged, and they start doing all kind of naughty things.
So are you trying gamification, for example?
Now in Finland there is this company called Rovio, which developed Angry Birds. And they are now very much, on our video you can also see there was a situation with Rovio and children developing new kinds of learning games, and that's a big thing now in Finland because we are a big game kind of producer. So instead of doing kind of Warcraft games, we would like to do mathematics and science games.
And what do you think about the new platforms about adaptive learning or control or textbooks, electronic textbooks inside platforms? Do you use them or not? It's another line of thinking. Absolutely different.
Well, the main problem with new technologies is that we are trying to move the old practices to the new technologies. So I'm fond of the concept of flipped book. So if you make an electric book,
real practice.
Yes, then it must be somehow activating. And this has been very difficult for publishing companies to understand the business opportunities that would be to textbooks that are interactive and
materials and so on. They are doing, as you say, the same. They are imitating the things we do.
Yes, and the problem is also that the logic for making money is going to be totally different. Like Khan Academy and people who do new things, the logic for making money is not like you keep everything closed and you sell new editions, but it's going to be totally different. I'm not a business person, but I can understand that much, that it's going to be the whole publishing business is going to be blended. So that social media and new kinds of interactive technologies and video clips and things like that are going to be implemented in books. And then we have to remember that school books and fiction are a bit different. So novels, you don't need to, if you visualize a novel, it's called movie. But everybody wants to read novels and create the images in their own head. But textbooks are totally different. If you want to learn psychology, it's very hard to visualize in your mind some scientific experiments. You need to watch a video clip or visualization or simulation or something like that. So let's keep novels and fiction. If people want to read books, forever they are going to want to read that kinds of books. But textbook business is going to change, science book business. And it has already happened in medicine. I've been working in medical education for 15 years, and medical education is always first, not worst, but first to change, because it's a question of life and death. So they're always developing the most innovative forms of teaching and learning, and anatomy books, physiology books are developing faster than other books.
Many thanks for your ideas. I hope in Spain we have the force to develop these ideas and to work in this line in education.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kirsti, for your very interesting and enlightening lecture. Ahí tengo para una pregunta.